Deep inside.
Truth is found in the moments when we come back to ourselves, when we ride away.
Hey girlies, hi everybody joining. Just surging the life out of myself. So I've got a little caramel tea. You know how we do it. Hi Kaylee. Hi Kimberly. Hi Amy. Hi Maxie. So I'm actually on a fast. Okay. I'm on a fast. But I was just like chilling there meditating. I was like, I really want a caramel tea. So then I asked me and a child and I was like, do you want a caramel tea? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, me too. So I made the tea, but it's quite funny because I'm on a fast. On a 72-hour fast. And I remember last year I went to like a 3-day retreat thing, this fast. And the person who was running it, my friend, I got there, and you know what I'm like, I'm just like, hi, and I was like, yeah, I've had a black coffee this morning before I came, and he was like, oh, did you? Yeah, and he was like, so you're not doing the water fast? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I've not ate any food, I've just had a black coffee, and he's like, yeah, but you're on a water fast, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, and he's like, well, black coffee isn't watered, is it? And I was like, fuck. So all the time that I've been doing fasts, I was always doing it wrong, because I was told, and I thought, and everyone thinks, because everyone I speak to say the same thing, I thought you're allowed black coffee, green teas, herbal teas, but actually that's not a water fast, is it? So now I'm like, yeah, I'm just fasting. So now it's gone from a water fast, and I think I'm about 50 hours in, and now it's gone to a water caramel tea fast. But I'm still fasting, but I've just give me inner child what she needs, you know. Oh, hi Lorna. Oh my god, I have not seen you in forever. Oh my god, I hope you're okay, darling. Hi Louise. Hello everybody. Okay girls, so I'm gonna kick it off because I've got a lot to go through. By the way, I feel like there's a version of me on like another timeline who actually makes an effort on these lives, because I've got my gym stuff on. I've had this on since like 8 o'clock this morning. I've been cleaning in it, I've been the gym in it, I've not had a shower, I've got a conditioning mask in my head. Oh, and I've actually, every time I go live, can you see it now or not? I have got a ring light, but the main question I get asked after the live is, what have you got on your face? Why is your face always so shiny? So I am on like a skin journey, but it's this. Can you see it? It's called Welder Glow Perfecting Serum Drops. It's like £6 on Amazon, and it literally just makes your face dead shiny. I love it. I live by it. I swear by it. So this with a little bit of what is that thing called? Highlighter, and you're good to go. £6 off Amazon. Like, you can't complain, can you? But yeah, I wanted to say that because every single live, everyone's like, why is your face so shiny? Hi girlies, hi girlies. Okay, so let's get started. I've actually got a story, right? So obviously tonight's live, I advertised it as, what did I even advertise it as? Like, why you lose yourself in connection. And that's because every conversation I'm having recently, even the girls in my membership, we're all on like this. It's just consistently coming up. Now, there's a version of me 3 years ago that I'm gonna dig up tonight, and I'm gonna have to get vulnerable and get a little bit real and honest, and yeah, I'm gonna go into like where the wisdom that I birthed from 3 years ago, which I never actually speak about when it comes to any form of content, any lives. I will talk about it in my membership, but that's quite a secluded, safe space for me, so I get to play it safe there. But I just feel like I'm at a point in my life where I need to just not care. Like, I always feel a little bit vulnerable when it comes to speaking about this relationship. I'm going to go into it properly, but tonight is where I break that vulnerability and I'm like, I need to just get over it. And like, I'm not actually, you know what it is, right? Because I know, oh God, I feel like a bit vulnerable here, but I know that he watches my stuff and we have mutual friends. So I always have this underlying fear of anything that I say getting back to him. But all I'm saying is truth. I haven't got anything bad to say. But I really want to go into it because the stories that you are coming to me with and things that you are saying and questions that you are asking, I'm like, I get it. I've been there. I've been that girl. I know how it is. So I feel like tonight is the night to just go into it. It's quite funny actually because I'm literally writing a book and hopefully it's going to be finished soon, but I said that like at the end of 2025, but I just keep adding and adding and adding. And I've written a whole chapter about him, about me, about us. So I'm like, you know, people are going to read the book. He could possibly read the book. So stop being so scared to speak about it. Don't just like write about it, do you know what I mean? So anyway, I don't know why I felt I need to get that off my chest, but I need to tell you this story because it just came up for me and I was like, I'm actually going to start the live with this. It's more of like just a message, nothing to do with men or anything, just a little message from me to you and a little reminder to be like, yeah, you need to remember like who the fuck you are and why you've been through what you've been through and stop playing small with it. That's the message. So by the way, can you just tell me if the audio I don't know why that sounded that posh then, but like the audio of my voice sounds alright because I've got my mic on this time. I always forget to plug my mic in, but when I upload it to YouTube, the sound is so much better with a mic, so I need to get used to having it on. Can someone just let me know if the sound is okay, or like is it like tinny? You know, like sometimes it can be a bit tinny. Somebody let me know. Yeah, so this is going to be recorded for those asking, and it will be posted on my YouTube. I will send an email out with the recording and you can watch it anytime. But I want you to, those who are doing the live, I want you to be able to, yeah, it's fab, amazing, thank you my darling. Yeah, if anything comes up for you girls, I've got the chat box. By the way, I do the filming on that on my phone and then I see the chat box on my laptop because it's easier. But yeah, if any questions come up throughout tonight's live, just ask away. Like my son had surgery at the weekend, so I literally was in hospital all weekend, and then this week I'm just playing nurse, which is so nice, you know, like honestly I feel like that's going to be a podcast episode in itself. So yeah, he's not at training, so I haven't got to rush off tonight. Like normally I do these lives at 7 and then I've got to go at 8 on the dot to pick him up from football, but he's not training this week, so you've got me all night. Like who's up for like an 11 p.m. finish? Because yeah. So, right, what I wanted to tell you is I done this, so this isn't like a dig at anyone, by the way. Everyone does different work, everybody's on different parts of their journey. Like, do you know what I'm really like moving away from energetically, and I don't like being around like this energy of like right and wrong, who's right, who's wrong. I'm not into that, and I don't like people who are like putting the work out there and helping people, guide people, and there's all this like energy of like she's right but she's wrong, but she's wrong and then she's right. And I feel what I've came to really notice on my own journey is there's actually no right and wrong ever, because the version of you who thinks that you're right, and then when you get to the next level and then you're like, oh, I was wrong back then, but then when you go back to that version of you wasn't wrong in it, that's all that you knew. So it's not about right or wrong or good or bad. Like, I love just staying neutral, stay at 12 o'clock with everything. And this is one of those situations. So I like buying, like, you know, like the little workshops that are online for like 30-40 quid, those little low ticket ones. Well, I follow coaches, and I know people and people that I look up to and have worked with in the past, and this is one of them. I worked with her for like a year, who will put stuff on. They'll put like these little workshops on, similar to what I do. Like in my membership of a Sunday, I'll do a little 60 to 90 minute workshop. So I'm big on them. So the other day I was just sat, and it came up. It was an email, and it was advertising. It was called the Manifestation Move. The Manifestation Move, it was called. And this is a coach that I used to be in her membership years ago, and she's a millionaire. She knows her shit, like, she's on it. She is. And I like her vibe. So she done this masterclass, and she told the story of, so I'm just going to ignore the comment box just for one sec, but I'm not like ignorant. Well, I am a little bit, am I? I don't know. I just don't like watching or consuming my energy or pouring my energy into anything that doesn't pour into me, that doesn't light me up, that I don't get a good feeling from after I've watched it, or after I've been around it, or after I'm with that person. I just don't like it. So when it comes to like the news and everything that's going on in the world, I just withdraw my energy. I'm just like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to sit in the hairdressers and be like, oh my God, the world is such a horrible place. Like, it doesn't serve me. It doesn't make me feel good. So I just detach from it all. So basically, she was telling the story of I don't even know, I'm gonna fuck this up now, but like, I think Dubai was getting bombed or something, and all the flights got stopped basically, and she was in the Maldives for a 40th, and she was in the Maldives, and she done this masterclass around how she was given a lot of lessons in money from God. So she's in the Maldives, and, you know, her birthday's ruined because you're not allowed to go off the resort or something, and then the flights got cancelled, and they was meant to come home, and she had work and stuff to do, and then they were stuck here on this resort. And then she was going into like how, so she kept buying new flights, and the flights kept getting cancelled, but then you wouldn't get your refund for 21 days. So it ended up being a 20 grand bill for these flights. It's a family of 6. And it might have been a 40 grand bill actually. I think it was 40 grand. So for these flights, so she was like, and I had to spend £40,000 out of my savings on flights just to get us home, because the flights kept getting cancelled. And then she was on about like the price of the food there, and they're all vegan, and it's very hard to find like the right food, and then she said about like she come on a period and she had to buy tampons, and she was like, and there was £32 for a box of tampons. So she's telling these stories, and the whole point in the mastermind that she was teaching was how she had to change her mindset in that moment around spending. So she's a millionaire. Like, she's a millionaire, a self-made millionaire, through doing what I do. She's a coach, she's got a membership, and she does live events, not a healing event, she does like motivational events. But she's a self-made millionaire, and that's why I look up to her a lot, because like, I'm like, if she can do it, why can't I? I like people who I can look at and be like, yeah, she's got it. She's doing what I'm doing, but next level. So, and it was a good masterclass, it was. I loved it. And she was saying how when she was spending the money, and when the money was leaving her bank account, she was just praying and saying, thank you that I've got this money, and that I can afford these tampons, and that my family is safe. And the whole session was around that. It was a 90-minute workshop. And I just had a moment, and this moment lasted, this was a 20-second, like, smack in the face from the Holy Spirit. And I was like, wow. So like, this millionaire is doing this workshop around her story of abundance and her lessons with money. And then I was like, well, what's your lessons with money, Catherine? And I was like, yeah, do you remember that time when the bailiffs was knocking at my house because the landlord took me to court because I wasn't paying the rent on my house and I was getting evicted? And I didn't have a pot to piss in, and my mental health was up the wall. I didn't have a job, I didn't have a car, I had nowhere to go, I didn't have any family to rely on. And I had this social worker who was getting me a place in a women's refuge. And remember that time when, like, you was packing your stuff and your son's stuff into black bin bags, and I had to just pack what I could to take with us, and my son was like, where are we going? And I'm like, yeah, we're just going on a little adventure, but we need to leave this house, we can't live here anymore. And really, I didn't know where we was going, I didn't know the next step, I didn't know what was happening next, I didn't know how I was going to make money or what the plan was for me. And in that moment, I just had to surrender, and I just had to give it to God. And I didn't have 40 grand for flights and all of the other stuff that she was talking about. And I was like, okay, well, that was my lessons that God chose to give to me, but they're her lessons that God chose to give to her. And then what I went deeper with, and what I fell into, and what the message is coming through me is, you've been given your story because it's what's meant for you. And with your story, whatever it is and whatever's coming through for you right now in this moment, you need to remember that it's all for a purpose, it's all for a reason, and it's all meant for you. And last week, I done a 3-day money mindset workshop, and on day 3 I was out. I was like, I'm done, I don't want to do this. I want to teach this work. And the lesson that I'm being shown, and what that was for me in that masterclass, was coming back to my heart space of being like, stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to teach like other people. Stop trying to be like the others, because you're not. You've been given a different level of wisdom and guidance and help that you can give to these women. So you was never meant to be in the Maldives learning the story of abundance. You were supposed to be homeless with your kid, going into a women's refuge, and that was the story of abundance that God chose you to learn. So what are you going to do with that? Are you still going to try and fit in? Are you still going to mould yourself? Are you still going to play small? Are you still going to be superficial? Are you still not going to show the real you and own your own story? And I just think I needed that reminder the other night, and I think that you're on this live, whether you're on the live or watching the recording, you also need this reminder, because that story was given to you. Whatever your story is, it was given to you perfectly. And it's all a part of your mission and your purpose and your reason for being here. And it's on you to use it. And the more that you're trying to be like the others, and you're trying to follow, is the message. You're not here to follow. You're here to pave the way. You're here to show the way. You are a way shower. You are a leader. And I believe, and it's quite interesting because I actually got a voice note off me one-to-one client Claire this morning. And she was just, I've not worked with her for like 6 months, I think it's been, it might be longer. And she messaged me saying how different her life is now, and what she's been through, and the work that she's done. And at the time she was in like this relationship and blah, blah, blah. And it got like personal, and I won't go into it. But I believe with every single bone in my body, the women who come into my world, whether you watch a free live, whether you come to a live event, whether you follow my YouTube channel, whether you're on my Instagram, whatever, there's a part of you that listens to me and resonates with me because you are a leader. I believe that I'm here to lead the leaders. I don't think that I'm here to lead the people. I think that I'm here to lead the leaders, because the leaders will lead the people, or the leaders will lead the leaders, depending what you want to do with your life. But what I do know to be true is that the women that I meet and the stories that they hold, they're not here to just do the healing work and live happily ever after. They're not. I've not met one. They're here to help the others. They're here to lead. I get the message all the time with every single one of you. You are here to lead, and that's why your story is so difficult. And that's why you haven't got a story of being stranded in the Maldives, having to pay 40 grand for flights. That's not your story. You know what it's like on the dark side. You know what it's like at rock bottom. So what are you doing with that? Who are you helping with that? Is the message. And that's just something that I want you to sit with tonight after this live, and really get real with yourself. That's how I feel. Like, fucking get real. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to be like her? Why are you trying to fit into an algorithm? Why are you trying to go viral on TikTok? Who are you trying to be? Why aren't you just being you? And why aren't you owning everything that you've been through? And why aren't you living your life from a place of, it had to be that way. That's the way that it had to be. I had to go through it. It was all for me. I was never a victim. I was never, ever a victim. God knows what he's doing with you. Let me just say that again. God knows what he's doing with you. And you have to, for this next part of your journey, you have to trust in that. That's what's being asked of you. You have to trust in it. Without falling back into old habits and old ways of being and old thoughts and the old you who struggled to understand why it all had to be that way. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's like, feel it for what it is. Like, be sad and cry and be like, wow, really, this is fucking breaking me. Like, this is a lot. I'm not saying not to feel it, of course, feel it. But hold the faith. Hold the faith in what you can't see. Like, just imagine that version of me, like 5 years ago, who I genuinely couldn't answer my son when he was saying, like, where are we going? Why are we leaving this house? What's happening? And we're just there with our bin bags of clothes. I genuinely didn't know what was next for me. I didn't know that I was going to go and build a multi-six-figure business and buy this house and drive that car and live the life. I didn't know anything. But I surrendered it. And at the time, I didn't like the God language. Wasn't into it. Didn't like it. Didn't trust in it. I was like, I couldn't get on board with it. I hadn't awakened to it. So at that time, I went through a stage of praying, but I didn't know what I was praying to. So I just used to speak to my nan, who's in heaven, but my granddad was still here. He was alive at the time, and there's a picture of my granddad right there on my desk, like literally directly looking at me. So I used to speak to my nan and I used to pray to my nan, but really I was praying to God. And I was like, Nan, please don't leave me in this on my own. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get out of it. I don't know the next step. I swear on my son's life, my candle's just gone out. Can you see the smoke? So, yeah, I just had to trust in what I couldn't see and I couldn't feel and I didn't have answers to. And that built me this connection to myself and to source, to God, that it can never be undone. Because now when things aren't going to plan, or things are happening in my life and I'm a little bit out of control and I'm a little bit like questioning, I'm a little bit like, what the fuck is happening? I'll take myself back, and sometimes I will literally hear God say to me, why are you stressing? Why are you trying to control? What's your problem? Have I ever gave you a reason not to trust me? Have I ever let you down? Have I ever not got you through shit? Have I ever not been there for you? And I'm like, fuck, no. Because even when the times are hard and it's a lot, and it does get a lot, you get through it, don't you? Like, you've always got through everything that you've been through. And I think sometimes we have to rely on that evidence. We have to look at what we've been through, what we've got through, and the fact that we're still here and we're still going. Instead of thinking worst case scenario of how is it going to work out, how is it going to be, poor me. Oh my God, this is such a hard life. I'm such a victim. Instead of playing into that frequency that just drags you down and you just attract more and more and more of being the victim, because the universe is always a yes. So it's like, I'll show you more of that, I'll show you more of that, and then you're like, see, I'm such a victim. Instead of playing into that, it's like, no, I'm not a victim. This is all a part of his plan. I have to go through this. This is preparing me for what I'm here for. And even if it's just so you can literally have the gift of being able to look another person in the eyes, not having to say anything, not having to prove yourself, not having to be this and do that, nothing at all, but just literally look them in the eyes and be like, yeah, I get it. I get it. I know that pain. I feel it just from looking into your eyes. That's a gift. That's a fucking gift. Where else are you getting that from? Go to uni. Go and work with that guru. Go and do that Reiki master course, go and work with her, or do that retreat. You're not getting that gift. Gift is earned, and you earned it by going through what you went through. And then other women will come into alignment with you, with who you are, and you'll just get it. You'll just know it. You'll just know that pain. And that's a feeling that I just think it can't be compared with. I don't think any other feeling comes close. And that's what it is at my live events and the work that I do. It's just a feeling of, yeah, I know. And you know that I know. And no one's saying anything. That's the real work. That's the real work of going inwards, where you don't need to speak. I feel like words are such... I was having this conversation with my brother, but he wasn't on it, and he's not that far into his work, but he didn't get it. I feel like words are such a superficial way of communicating. Like, I don't want your words. How do you make my nervous system feel? How do I feel when I'm around you? What's the eye contact saying? I think the words are like the bottom of the list. Because anyone can talk. Anyone can say what they think you want to hear. Anyone can go and get a certificate. Anyone can go and do a course. But can they get on your level? Like, this is resonance. And that's what people need. That's what we're crying out for. Don't just speak to me and try to sell me something. See me. Feel me for who I am, for what I've been through. understand me at a depth that the rest of this world can, that the rest of this world never will be able to. Like, let's just bring it back to this amazing coach who's a millionaire. Like, do you think if I sat in a room with her, she would be able to get my story? She would be able to look me in the eyes and be like, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Similar to, actually, let's flip the switch there. I'll never get her story. I don't know what it's like to be a millionaire. I don't know what it's like to be stuck in the Maldives and be having to spend £40,000 on flights. I don't know what that feels like. So it's the same. So that's my message to any of you who are just a little bit trying to be somebody that you're not. And I've spent a long time doing that. So I feel like I've got the right to sit here and say it. Because I've spent a long part of my journey trying to be somebody that I'm not. And now that I own who I am, what I've been through, my story, all parts of myself, that's when I'm really living a blessed life, but not from a place of the bank account and the car and the house, none of that. Just blessed for how I feel in the morning when I'm stood at my kitchen window waiting for my kettle to boil, and I'll literally just have tears rolling down my face because I just feel so grateful to be here, and I'm connected to my own heart space, and I love my life. I love it. And I love who I am. And I don't try and be anybody else now. And I want that for every one of you. And I think sometimes we want a different story. We want the story to change. And that's going against God's plan for your life. Because how many women do you think, so there's 56 people on that masterclass the other night, how many of those women was sat there feeling into? I mean, I don't know where they are on the journey, whether they're doing the work or what, but like, how many times did we do that? Like, oh, I wish that was my story. I can't wait to be a millionaire and to be having to deal with lessons like that. And I think we really like rob ourselves of the magic of who we are and who He created us to be. And I don't think that you'll ever live a fulfilled, peaceful, full, whole life for as long as we do that to ourselves. I really do think that the magic, the secret weapon, everything that you're looking for is the part where you accept who you are. All of you, all parts. You have to feel it to learn to teach, to know what you need to take from everything. The secret is to feel your way through it. I love this. Ah, hi Lauren, my darling. Oh Lauren, I'm so sad that I'm not seeing you on Saturday. I hope that you forgive me. I feel so bad. I was meant to message you actually. I'll message you after this live because I know that you was really looking forward to it. So I was holding an event on Saturday called Manifest It. You might have seen it on my page, but you might have not. And I was just going to be teaching all of the girls who was coming, just business women in a room who wanted to level up and make some money, and I was doing money mindset and going into like universal laws and all of the good shit. And literally at the weekend, I was in hospital with my son all weekend, which meant I was in my head a lot, and I had a lot of time on my own because while he was having, he's fine by the way, he's absolutely fine, but while he was having surgery, I was just like sat in stillness and silence, and I just got the message like, you're not supposed to do this event this weekend. Like, why are you doing this event? This isn't what these women need. And then I sat with it, and I don't know whether it was a little bit of me ego when I booked it, because I went to the stadium and I seen the box and I manifested, because they don't really rent out the boxes. But the girl was so nice and she was like, I'll see what I can do. So then I got the box. So it was in like the stadium box. And I think I just got in me a little bit like in... I don't think it was ego, because I do love teaching money. I do love like the abundant side of things, but I feel I used to do that when I done aesthetics. I used to be a coach for business women, 6-figure business women, and I used to teach them how to up level the business, and it's an old identity now. And I think that's what was happening. Like the old me was like coming back in, and it just didn't feel, I couldn't get in my body with it. It was all in my mind, and I just knew it didn't feel right. So I had to cancel the event, and I had to literally sit there and refund every single ticket back. There's still a few that need refunding as well. But I'm going to be holding another event, and it's so interesting because once I let that go, I've got a big gob, haven't I? Like, I'm going to tell you something now, but I like saying things when they're actually done. I don't like a talker, me, and I'm not a talker, but I'm going to tell you this, but it's not fully done, but I promise you it will be happening. So my energy healer who lives in Hungary, she started coming over now every month, and she asked me in like January time, this was, about us potentially doing something together. And I was like, yeah, I'll sit with it and feel into it, and nothing came through about us working together, so I just left it as that, just trusting, like, if we're supposed to work together, we will. And then once I let that event go, literally the Monday morning, was it the Monday morning? Yeah, I was in meditation, and I was like, it's time. She's going to come over and we're going to do something together. But I'm actually going to do a 7-day retreat with her in the first week of May. So I'm going to spend that time with her, and then she's going to come over then the week after, and we're going to do something. But I can't really say much more on that. But what I'm saying is I let that go, and then something new came in, which is always the way that it happens. So anyway, that's just a little story. I've just kept you for 40 minutes just talking about my life. No, but does everybody understand where I'm coming from with that story? And like I started the story with, this is nothing against this coach who was teaching. She's amazing. She obviously knows what the work is about because she's a millionaire. And she's not a millionaire where she's constantly in hustle and works every hour under the sun. No. I don't listen to those millionaires. Absolutely not. I don't listen to anyone who works more than 10 hours a week. I'm not into you. I'm not. So she's a millionaire and she works like a few hours a week. She's got a membership. She does one-to-one coaching. She does a few events a year. And she smashed it. She doesn't do the healing work. She's just big on like mindset stuff. But that story that she told was to teach us about the idea of it was to go into changing your mindset when you're spending money, which is a good lesson. But like that was the message that came through for me. So Catherine, what's your mindset around when you're in lack? And then I was like, oh yeah, remember that time when the bailiffs was knocking fuck out of me front door? But yeah, so anyway, tonight's session, I've only got half an hour left with you. I promise not to keep you for too long. So basically, right, is Alana on here? If you are, say hi. I've seen your name before, I think, but you might have gone off. It was funny because I was in the park with my dog on my little dog walk, and Alana, who's in my membership, I just heard this scream, and she was like, oh my god, it's you. And then this girl just come running over to me, and I was like, oh my god, and it was her. And it's so funny, isn't it, when when you work with somebody online and then you see them in real life, or even you follow somebody online and then you see them in real life, it's a bit like, it's weird. And she was crying and she was like, oh my God, like I really needed to see you today, I'm going through so much. And then we tried to like unpack it a little bit and go a bit deeper with it, and it's around the subject that I'm bringing up tonight. But I had my dog, and I've got a Cocker Spaniel, and if you're somebody who knows about Cocker Spaniels, oh, they are crazy. So he's dragging me everywhere. I've got her crying, I'm trying to give her advice, I'm trying to lock in, but I can't because the dog is eating all sorts. And I was like, oh my God. But anyway, so tonight's subject is literally inspired by her. But also, I've got another few women who have been reaching out to me and just more or less on the same vibe, which is why I felt I needed to give my input. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm single. I'm not like one of these in a happy marriage and like, I can show you the way. I haven't got a fucking clue. I don't know how to be in a relationship. I don't know anything. But what I do know is what I've learned about losing yourself in them. And there was big lessons for me, and I believe every single one of us need to fucking do the work around that. So here's what happens. Here's my advice. What I feel into and what you all reach out to me, and a lot of yous on this live will connect with this, is how when you're in your solitude, I'm going to keep an eye on the chat box here because I might confuse you. Ask away. Anything that you feel like you don't get, just ask me. So it's like a feeling of you're doing the work, you're on the journey, you're going inwards. You might be in the membership, you might have a mentor, you might have a coach, you might be doing regular, Reiki sessions, and you're on it, you're doing the work. And you're in your solitude and your isolation, and your person hasn't come in yet. And you feel like you're in a really good place in your life. And then in he comes. Out of nowhere, he just arrives. And instantly, he's the one. He is him. He's the one that God has sent to me. He is this God-given man that I'm going to marry, and it's going to be happy ever after. All the work that I've been doing, it's to lead me to this. And then you very quickly are shown your attachment style. And for a lot of the women I attract, it's anxious attachment. Anxious attachment loves an avoidant attachment. Loves it. Literally comes together like the perfect puzzle pieces. And then before you know it, you're in this relationship and you slowly start to fall off track with the work that you're doing, and they then become this part of your life. And you very slowly, it feels like it's slowly, but it's actually quite fast how it happens. You just lose yourself in that person. And then you're in this relationship and there's like no separation between the two. It's like this. And what's happening is all of your wounds that you feel no longer exist because now you're doing the work and you have a mentor and you're on it and you're this and you're that. Well, all those wounds actually haven't gone anywhere. It's just because you haven't got this mirror to show you your wounds. So when you're in solitude and you're in isolation, like I am right now, especially when you're in celibacy, there's no self-betrayal wounds, there's no abandonment wounds, there's no rejection wounds, there's nothing coming up because you haven't got that person to show you. So it's like a test, a consistent test. I'm going to test you to see how much you do love yourself. I'm going to test you to see where you do choose yourself. I'm going to test you to see where you abandon, where you betray, where do you lose yourself instantly. And you'll find that when that person comes in, all those wounds resurface. And then if you're not doing the work, the real work, to catch yourself in them, you get lost in them. And then what happens is when we get lost in them, we lose ourselves. And it's from this place of, it's all your inner child, by the way, so this isn't about judging yourself. And this is what I was saying to Alana when I seen her. I was like, it's not about judging yourself for loving somebody and giving it your all and wanting it to work and pouring your heart and soul into that person. Don't you dare close that part of you off. Don't shut your heart off. Don't go cold. Don't go inward. Stay open and just see the lessons in it. Take the gold from this person that has came into your life to show you who you are, where you need to heal, where you need to go inwards. And what's happening here is, and I'm just gonna call myself out here, but just know I'm calling you out. I am actually calling you out. So feel me love here. It comes from a place of love. So what's happening is, you meet this person and you lose yourself in them, and you begin to live your life through them. They're then this main character energy in your life. So then you start doing things to stay in common with them. So it's like you start listening to the music that they like to listen to. You start doing the things that they want to do. Which is fine, because I think back to like when I was in that relationship and we just got together and he wanted to go and see this person and I'd never heard of him. And I still went, which I believe, you know, there is that compromise and you're getting to know each other. Like, I want to know what you're into, you get to know what I'm into, but here's where you go wrong. You get to know what they're into, but you don't bring them in on what you're into. So then you forget all of what you're about and you just go straight in for him. And then what's happening though? So then you start doing what he wants to do. You start watching the films that he wants to watch, going the places he wants to go. You start moulding yourself into this version that needs to fit into this relationship to be what he needs you to be, so that you can keep this connection. And then both of your attachment styles will start surfacing and you'll start getting to know each other a little bit deeper, and then you'll start, depending on where you are with your awareness, you'll start recognising the patterns. And you'll start seeing when you lean in and he leans back, and then when he begins to run and you begin to chase, and when he then becomes avoidant, it makes you more anxious. And then it's this dance then. And it's deeper than this. I'm making this a little bit superficial because it's fucking deep. And it all comes back to your inner child. It all comes back to your mum and your dad and your first experience of love. What you was taught love was, your love story from being a child. As somebody who had to earn love, who love was conditional, who you had to be what your parents needed you to be in order to receive. And that stays with you until you do the inner work and you realise this isn't it. But here's what's happening on a subconscious level. That is my message today. When you're doing all of these things, so when you're becoming this version of you that he wants you to be, you know that he wants this. So I think back to me 3 years ago when I was in that relationship and I become everything that he wanted me to be. Like, to the point, girls, I was fucking... It's not funny. It is funny. It actually is funny. I do laugh about it, but it wasn't funny at the time. And it wasn't funny the last 3 years when I've been healing from this shit. I was training for a marathon. I don't want to run no fucking marathon. I was going to Amsterdam to do a marathon. Why? I want to do a marathon. I like me little 5Ks in the park. I don't want to train for a marathon. But this underlying wound of I just want to be everything that he wants me to be told me you need to train for the marathon with him. Like living in the gym, counting calories, constantly on it with like me protein and me macros and bit. that isn't me. I don't want to be like that. But I was that to be in this relationship. But here's what happens, and here's what nobody seems to talk about, and here's what I had to learn. There's then this underlying energy of, if he doesn't then give you this level of love that he can't give you, because this isn't even the real you. So you're asking for him to love you in a way that you're yearning to be loved. But he can't get behind the mask. He can't get behind this performance that you're so amazingly putting on, running your marathons and shit. I didn't run the marathon, by the way. But you're never going to receive this love. You're never going to feel it, ever. You can't. Because he's not in love with you. He's in love with the character that you're playing. So it's like, it looks nice. It's like, oh, this looks so nice that he's loving that version of me. But inside, your inner child is like, but he's not loving us because he doesn't even know us. So then what's happening is underlying, like, there's no conscious awareness around this. It's all just happening behind the scenes. I'll be on the comments in a minute. What's happening is you're then in this resentment. Like, you're fucking fuming underneath because you're like, hang on a minute, I've literally gave up my whole life to be with you. I'm doing what you want me to do. I'm being who you want me to be. I'm fucking training for marathons. I'm going the gym. I'm being this certain way. I'm getting into the things that you're into. My spare time is yours. I don't have a life now because it's all about you, because you're the main character for me. You're my everything. And you still don't meet my needs. You still don't love me the way that I need to be loved. You're still not this person that I need you to be. How dare you? And that's what we do. And it's unfair on both sides. Like, it's unfair to him because he's not got a gun to your head. My ex didn't have a gun to my head telling me, like, you need to count your calories. You need to do this. You need to be into the same music as me. I just allowed that to happen because I wanted love so badly. Like, I'll do anything for you to love me. I'll be whatever you need me to be to receive this level of love from you. But then you better fucking love me. You better meet my needs. And it's like setting him up to fail. It's like you put all this pressure on this person through your anxious attachment, through your story of love, through you want him to fill these holes inside of you, which you've carried from childhood, which your inner child needs you to fill, but you think it's him. So you better fill those holes. You better, because I'm being what you want me to be. I'm changing my whole life for you. I'm giving up my friendship groups. I'm giving up my time. I'm changing my hobbies and my interests. I'm training for a marathon. I'm being what you want me to be. So you better not fucking make a wrong move. And imagine the pressure that that person feels. Like, I think back and I'm like, imagine the pressure that my ex felt. I put a lot of pressure on him. And he didn't ask me to do all of those things. And this is why, and I know some of you get offended, and I'm here for it, get offended. I'm not here to people please you and stroke your ego. This is why I say to every single one of you, and I don't care who you are and what your story is, it's never them, it's you. It's never him, it's you. It wasn't him, it was me. He didn't make me start training for a marathon. That was my decision. He didn't come into my life and force me to make him my everything. That was my decision. And he done the same for me. Like, and that's where it gets toxic, because nobody's real. Everyone's pretending, everyone's wearing a mask, no one knows each other, and then we call it love and we're like, yeah, we're in a relationship, but you're not, because you don't even know each other. And you're lying every day. It's a lie. And this is the importance of having that connection to you, of knowing who you are, of meeting your own needs and entering a relationship from a place of want, not need. And that lesson will be taught to you on repeat over and over again from your inner child. Over and over again. With friendships, with relationships, with colleagues, with anyone. And the second that you start putting people on these pedestals and you start thinking that they're the ones to heal you and they're the ones to meet your needs and they're this and they're that, your inner child will show you over and over again. And that's why we go through these painful lessons that we put ourselves in. We do it to ourselves. We break our own hearts. We do. I broke my own heart with him. I did. Because I got in that relationship and the two of us got into that relationship not knowing each other, having nothing in common. I can't even explain. Like, if you put me and him in a room now, we would have nothing to talk about. We've not got anything in common. We don't see the world the same. I literally had to do so much work in that relationship to water myself down, to shrink myself down, to stop being like so intense and so this and so that and oh my God, why have you got to be so deep? Why have you got to deepen everything? Why this? Why? And to the point that I didn't like who I was. I wished I could just turn myself down. I was like, why have I got to be so sensitive? Why do I have to look into everything? Why can't I just be normal? And he used to be like, his mates would just have normal girlfriends. And they didn't constantly have these deep conversations. And he'd be like, why has everything got to be about your inner child? Like, that was his thing to me all the time. Because everything is about your inner child. But then I would, instead of owning my truth and owning my sensitivities and owning my gifts and owning that I love depth and I love everything without going into it, I would wish that I'd stop being like that and I could just be normal. And I could stop the depth and stop the sensitivity and stop the wanting that to go deeper with it. Why can't I just keep it as it is? And when I look back, I actually I send myself so much love, but I'm just like, nobody asked me to do that. Nobody told me to do that. He never. It was a choice. And I knew it before we even got together, because before we entered that relationship, we spent 12 weeks in a course together. We done a course, a 12-week course, and we connected on that course and we had nothing in common. Nothing. Not even the gym, because we both went to the gym, yeah, but I went to the gym differently to him. He was obsessed with the gym. Like toxic, and I didn't like that. But then I got with him and then I started to be like that, thinking, well, I need to see the gym this way, I need to start taking it more seriously, I need to get into high rocks training. I don't even like high rocks training. I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. I can't stand marathons. I can't stand high rocks training. I can't stand all of that, any of it. But nobody asked me to, is the point. So every time I start blaming him and I lost myself in him and this, that, I'm like, shut the fuck up, Catherine. Like, stop bullshitting. Take accountability. He didn't force you to lose yourself in him. You self-betrayed yourself, your own heart. You're the one who abandoned yourself. You're the one who put him before you. You're the one who chose him before you chose yourself. It's all you. And as soon as you start pointing the finger this way instead of on them, I swear to God, girls, you will experience a level of freedom that you have never felt before in your life. Because then you can see the wounds for what they are. You can feel your shadows for what they are. You can face them. You can look them in the eyes. You can give yourself so much love. I'm so sorry that you felt you had to change who you are in order to receive love. But until you can have that accountability and face yourself on that level to that depth, what? What? What's going to happen? The next lesson, the next man, oh, I done it again. Because nothing's changing, because you're not changing. The wounds aren't changing. The wounds are there. Everywhere you go, there you will be. There your inner child will be. There those wounds will be. It's not about him. Ever. He's just showing you. He was showing me. So I'm here. So I was in 2 years celibacy before I met him. And I'm here going, yeah, I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. And I'm in such a good place, and I've found myself, and I love myself, and I've connected to my inner child, and blah, blah. And then he comes along and he shows me, you're not doing shit, love. Because as soon as he walked in, what did I do? I went back to the old me. I went back to losing myself. I went back to betraying myself. I went back to abandoning myself. I went back into that little girl who would do absolutely anything for her mum and dad to give her the love and meet the needs of this innocent little girl that I needed back then. That's what you keep doing every single time. That's all that's happening. It's just that little girl inside of you. And this is what I'm saying to you. She doesn't need him. She needs you. She doesn't need... Wow, it sounds so like me. I've been struggling to get over my breakup since January. Same here, Sammy. Been there, done that. Yeah, so I'm glad that you're here, because this is how I needed to speak to myself. And I'm going to say like the first year of that breakup, might have been longer, you know. I don't know. At least a year. I was in like this victim. And I wasn't taking accountability of who I was. And this relationship, just to understand, it wasn't toxic. We didn't really argue. There was no shouting. It was actually a nice relationship. And it was the first conscious relationship that I've had. However, now I'm like, was I conscious? But there was nothing. It was my first non-toxic relationship, is what I'm trying to say. So there wasn't anything like toxic about it, which was always harder to accept that it was over, because it's easier when like someone cheats on you or someone's horrible to you and you're like, well, fuck you, you don't deserve me anyway. But with him, he actually never ever done anything wrong. It was just that we was literally brought together to show each other the work, to show each other our wounds. I don't believe it was ever supposed to be a relationship. I don't. And week 1, something happened between us that I knew that he wasn't for me. I knew it on the course, like I was saying before. On the course, we didn't even connect, we didn't get on. We had nothing in common. But I still went there, but obviously it was for the lessons, and I learned so much from that relationship. But that's because I chose to learn. I chose to do the inner work. I chose to go inwards. I chose to stop blaming. I chose to stop being this victim. I chose to stop telling that old story of like, oh, why me? Why do I always meet men like this? Why am I so unlovable? That isn't my story. I'm not unlovable, I just haven't met my person. So what story are you telling yourself? Because what story you tell yourself is in alignment with the men who come into your life. And the wounds that you're not willing to look at, the shadows that you're not willing to face, the places where you're not willing to go, the mirrors that you're not willing to look into, that person that you call in is going to show it you all. And you can numb out, and you can turn away, and you can play dumb and be blind to it and not want to look at that way, but it will only last so long, especially if you're doing the work. Like, it did with Alana, because she's doing the work. She's on a journey. She's on a deep journey. So this relationship happened to show her where she's still playing out the same stories and the same patterns in her life. And like I've said to a few of you who've reached out to me regarding this subject, it's an opportunity for growth. Like, alchemize that pain. Go inwards. Figure yourself out. Create this deep relationship with you. And if anyone wants advice on doing that, my biggest advice is I can't recommend celibacy more to anyone who's healing from the masculine. Like, I just think it's a secret weapon. I do. Like, go celibate. Commit to being celibate. Commit to you, to your inner child. And don't worry how many years like it takes, and just trust in God's plan. So how do we do the work? I totally understand. I hold my hand up that it's me, but how do we heal it? Literally that I've just said. Go on a healing journey. Go inwards. Dedicate your life to you. And this is another thing, like another piece of advice. Why I am where I am in terms of the work is because I'm so consistent, and I always have been. Like the past 3 years, since that relationship ended, I think the work really became the work for me. You won't ever hear me say like, oh yeah, I'm on and off with it. Like, yeah, I've fell off the bandwagon with it. Like, I've not really been doing the work. And you'll never find me not working with a coach, ever. You'll never find me not, because your coach is your blind spot. I love a coach. I love having an energy healer or a coach or a mentor that I can reach out to and be like, right, I'm fucking struggling here and I don't know what's happening. That person, if you've chose them in alignment with you, and that's another thing, that person is your blind spot to be like, okay, let's do the work around it. That's why I do that for a living, because I know the importance of it. But something for me is you've got to be on the journey and be on the journey. None of this on off. What's that about? When people say like, oh, I fell off with my morning routine, I'm not doing my rituals, I'm not doing my practices, and this is the big difference with the women who are doing the work and the women who are the work. There's no on off, there's no switch, there's no forgetting, there's no, oh, I'm not doing it anymore. There's none of that. This is who I am. This is how I show up. This is my life. Every single day it's a commitment to self. I want to get to know myself on a deeper level, and I don't care what that takes. And then literally dedicating your life to it. That's the work. Not a 4-week course. Not a few energy healing sessions here and there, or signing up to a bit of Reiki. Like, none of that. But completely dedicating your life to you every day. Building a connection to you. And for me, a big one is finding the guidance along the way. So whether that's signing up to a membership, watching free lives like this, podcasts, YouTubes, books. Oh my God, when people say to me that they don't read, I'm just like, I can't understand you. Like, why do you not read? Like, books are a fast track to healing. And then again, investing into a healer, a mentor, somebody who can guide you and be like, right, just having that blind spot. It's why I love the quote, she needed a hero, so that's what she became. Yeah, I love that quote. How do we stop repeating the pattern and blaming ourselves for them leaving us? Aww. But actually knowing all we want is the love that we've never had. In the end, I was definitely too much for him and wanting more and more. Although before he left me, I was preparing myself to leave, as I knew he gave me nothing I wanted. So why does it hurt so much when he does leave? Because you're just staying in a story. Because think about what you've just said. So what would you give him out of 10? So when you imagine, go back to that little girl inside of you, right? And you know what love you're deserving of. You know what your husband looks like, feels like. It's a knowing. You know it. What would you rate this person out of 10? You've already answered me questions here. Because you've just said, I was too much for him. I was always wanting more. Before he left me, I was preparing for him to leave. He gave me nothing. It's not your husband. It's not your person. What would you give him out of 10? So you're feeding the victim of, oh, I'm so unlovable. I didn't get the love as a child, so I'll never get it as an adult. And you've just got to rewrite that story. It's a self-worth thing. It's a knowing. It's like coming back to yourself. And this is why, like, it's to do the work on you so that you're whole and complete and you can attract from that place, because it's a knowing of what you deserve and not settling for less than that. And allow it to hurt, because you're grieving. What's happening here, what I'm reading, and I've no idea, like, I'm reading into here, you're grieving the potential of this person. You're grieving a relationship that you didn't even have. You didn't have it. It wasn't meeting your needs. For someone to make you feel like you're too much for them. For someone that you was already preparing before they left that they're going to leave. For somebody that gave you nothing, in your own words. You're holding on to a potential of relationship that didn't actually exist. It only existed in your fantasy world. And now you've got to grieve that. You've got to grieve the love that you never had. That's what's being asked of you. And then you rewrite a new story of, actually, so when that dark thought comes in of, I blame myself for him leaving me, you catch yourself in the thought and you bring it back and you hold the space for yourself like you would your best friend or your sister or your mum or whoever, and be like, no, I'm not going to blame us, because that's an old story. Maybe as a child you used to blame yourself for your dad not being able to meet your needs, your mum being emotionally unavailable. As a child we internalise it all, that it's our fault. I'm the one who's unlovable. So that story's now playing out. So now as the adult, you need to then meet the needs of the child, the little girl inside of you, and give her the love that your mum couldn't give you, your dad couldn't give you, and he couldn't give you. Well, guess what? I'm going to give it to you. And then you hold that space for you. You allow yourself to feel it, but then you rewrite the story of it. We're not to blame. He wasn't good enough for us. He couldn't stay. God would not let him stay with us because we deserve so much more than this. And I'm going to give it to you. And then when you go on this healing journey of falling madly, deeply in love with yourself, like when you just get back in your heart space and you just love who you are, all versions of you, all parts of you, then think of the level of man that you're going to attract. Because you don't attract what you want. Remember that. You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. The wounds are what attract that person. So if you're coming from a place of love and a frequency of this deep love of and knowing like who I am, then imagine where he has to be to meet you. And just see it all as lessons, like these people who come in, and I'm really big on like, and this is like a touchy thing because I know everyone's different, they've done different things, but I'm really big on like forgiving and just letting go with love. Like, I wish you the best. I hope you find your person. I hope you find a woman that doesn't feel too much for you. I hope she's not deep. I hope she's not sensitive. I hope she's everything that you want. I hope you find that. And I'm not that. So leave me over here. Like, leave me the fuck over here. But I'm not into leaving it with like bitterness and hate and he's this and he's that, because then you're carrying those energies inside of your body. So who does that serve? Just let them go with love. You're not my person, and that's okay. That is okay. That sometimes God will bring you people who aren't your person. It's about not settling when you know that person isn't your person. That's where it's at. Like, you know. I knew in week 1. I knew as soon as that course ended and we moved from the friend zone into more, my nervous system, everything, you know what, I think back and I think, wow, it's mad, it's absolutely fucking mad. I knew this isn't right, he's not for me. Like, I didn't he just wasn't my person. Oh, it's mad when I look back. It's absolutely fucking mad. I met a fella back in April. He seemed amazing. Amazing chemistry, was strong, everything. Was so overwhelmed and upset when he said he wanted something casually long term, not available. Bye. I really wanted him and felt my anxious attachment, but resisted and told him nobody has continued benefits of me without commitment. I told him I deserved and he wished me well. I told him what I deserved and he wished me well, and I didn't hear off him again. Thank you, God. I nearly turned it to a meaning about my worth again, but I've been celibate since. I go on such a spiral. I still think about him every day. Now, what's all that about? Well, you're just holding on to something that wasn't actually there, and you're not seeing that you was massively, divinely protected, because it would never have worked, and he's telling you that he's not available. He wanted something casual. So then there's a girl out there who will go, oh yeah, I want casual too. But you're blocking her, and she's blocking you, and no one's getting what they want, because you're telling a story of it has to be him. No, he's not available. Respectfully, you're not available. You want something casual. I don't. Goodbye. Like, there's nothing more to say. Conversation done. And then you just detach and you get on with your life. And that's how easy it gets to be. That is how easy it gets to be. But us, the human in us, wants to go all the way around the world and all the stories and all of this and all of that. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can choose in that moment. He's not my person. And I respect myself too much to stay in this dynamic. It's not for me. Because what happens is when we stay in that dynamic and when we try and push it, and it's like this is what we do and this is what I've always done. It's like they tell us that they're not available. They don't want us. Let's have it right. They don't want you. And then we're like, right, I need to prove to him now. I need to prove to him. I need to do the work. I need to prove to him that he does want me. Why the fuck do we do that? Why do we do that? Like, when you really look back at relationships, when they are telling you through, might not be saying it, this is the words thing, this is why I'm not big on words. Their actions are showing it, their feelings are showing it, the way that they're showing up with you, they're showing it. When you lay in bed with them, when you're having sex with them, they're constantly giving you this message that they're not for you. They can't love you to the depth that you need to be loved. They can't meet you there. They're not your person. It's screaming so loud, especially in the bedroom. Like, anyone in a relationship where you're questioning, is this your person? And like, is this it? Like, what's this love story? Really go into your sex life and really feel into where you meet each other, and you'll get a lot of answers. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody wants that conversation. It's too vulnerable. Well, I'm telling you now, you'll get so much from it if you're willing to go there. But this relationship is telling you on repeat that it's not it. And then you, the little girl in you, the little girl who seeks love in you, is saying, I need to earn this then. I need to work harder. I need to be worthy of this love. I need to show him that I'm enough. So I'll do what it takes. So that might be, I'm going to get in better shape. I'm going to sort my diet out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be that. It's never going to work. Ever. Because he's not available. He can't meet you. He doesn't even love himself. So how can he love you? Like, those grown-ass men who are like, I want something casual, I want a situationship. I promise you, they're very unhealed and they come with a lot of work. Like, they do. And unless you're willing to play mummy and play the therapist and play all these different shitty roles apart from the wife, then I would see it as being divinely protected. Like, I'm not into that. It's not for me. Because it's a disconnection from their own heart space, and they'll be carrying a lot of wounded feminine. Like, they can't commit to you and they can't give you that level of love because they don't give it to themselves. They're not connected to themselves. They don't feel worthy. They can't receive. So every time that it turns out that it's not it, before you go into that story and down that spiral of where you want to create the story of being unlovable and it's happened again and why me, just thank God and be like, thank you for removing him from my path because he's not my person. And stay with that. And every time you meet someone, literally ask, like beg for them to be removed if they're not for you. And trust in that feeling, like trust in what your nervous system is telling you. It's a lesson or a blessing. We ignore the red flags and think they will turn into red roses. I wish letting go of him and the fantasy was that easy. I still struggle now. You've just got to do the work around it. I get it. Honestly, I get it. Like I say, it took me over a year. I'm going to say it was like 18 months. So what was yours? January? We're only in fucking March. But mine was like over a year of doing the inner work, of really going inwards. And then I finally let him go because I stayed in the story of like, maybe we're supposed to separate to go off and do the work and then we're going to come back together. And I stayed in that story. To the point I fixated in that story. And that wasn't it. And it's like being asked to just surrender. It's like, just surrender it. And if he's meant to come back, he will. I know wholeheartedly he never will, because I know wholeheartedly he was never supposed to be my partner. Like, I never once envisioned me marrying him. We used to say it. We said it after a week. Like, after a week, he was like, I will marry you. I never, ever envisioned us getting married. I never envisioned us having a baby together. I could never feel it. I never seen it with him. But we used to talk it. You know, the talk, what everyone does. But I never felt it. I always knew he's not my person. And I held on to... It was just attachment, and I just had to do the healing work in order to release myself from that, and it took time and it's a process. And I really feel what I want to say to you, Sammy, is just give yourself so much grace. Oh, just give yourself so much grace, because you not letting go and you holding on and you questioning and you being upset over him is because you loved him. And that's beautiful. Like, you loved him. And I just think it's beautiful, like, people who love. And I like it that you're feeling it and you're crying over it, and it's hurting your heart space. Because I remember every relationship that I've been in, apart from Jordan, my last one, I never cried. I never felt. I didn't know how to cry. I didn't know how to be upset. I was so numb. I was so, like, when my mum left at 12, I made the promise, I will never ever cry. I'll never have tears. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be emotional. And I turned my gifts off, turned my sensitivity off. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be this emotional person anymore. So when I get into relationships and things would happen, I did have feelings for these people. Of course I did. I was in relationships with them. But when the relationships would end, even though, like, let's have it right, they were shitty people, but it doesn't matter. I just couldn't get upset. I couldn't feel my heart, just couldn't. So when that happened with Jordan, and it broke me, I felt like my heart broke into millions of tiny pieces. I was like, oh my God, I can feel. And then I took so long getting over him, like every day writing him letters. Every day just thinking about him and asking God, is he going to come back? And just staying open to him receiving my love again. And I look back and I'm like, Catherine, I fucking love you for that. I love the way I love. I love the way that I'm all in. I love the way that I'm not scared of getting hurt, because I love how love feels. And I also know how the lessons and the growth and everything that comes from it just brings me closer to me. So I'm in. And I don't want to turn that down, and I don't want to close myself off from that. I don't want to stop loving. So see it as a gift, and just know that it's time to go on a healing journey. He made me riddled with anxiety. My nervous system was shut to the core. Yeah, exactly. He's not your person, so thank you. Thank you for removing him from my life. Because he wasn't it. So now you're being asked, and I know you've just joined my membership last week actually, haven't you? You're being asked to go on this beautiful journey of getting to know you. Who's Sammy? Who's Sammy outside of that relationship? What does she like to do? What food does she like to eat? Where does she like to go? Where does she like to play? What's her favourite colour? How does she feel when she's painting and she's drawing and she's writing herself love letters and she's in the bath with the candles lit? Like, who is she? Get to know her. Fall madly in love with her. Don't make it about him. Don't make it about the next man. Don't make it about, I need to heal so I can then call in this divine masculine. Don't make that your story. That isn't your story. You don't need a divine masculine. You want one. Of course you do. You don't need one. You need you. You need your love. That's what your inner child is literally yearning for. The love that you didn't get as a child, you now get to give to you as a grown-ass woman. And it'll be a love that you've never felt before in your life. A depth that no man has ever came close to. So then imagine the next man. Imagine the standard when you go inwards and you return to you and you connect to you and you know who you are. You know who you are. Imagine the standard of man that it's going to take to come in to meet that. They always return a year later, but don't even go there. They always return a year later with me, exactly a year. It confuses me. Yeah, they always return. They always return. Like, I had an ex literally declaring his love for me. Like, it got weird to the point I had to block him because it just got a lot. It just got too much. And he's from like 5 years ago and just thinks I'll just pop up and speak to you. I was in Egypt with my son and I just started getting all these messages and was like, what the hell is going on? Sometimes they return just to test you. Are you still on that timeline? And it was like, as soon as his name came up, I was like, absolutely not. Who even is this? And then the one that I'm talking about has tried to return, and it's like, it depends where they're at with the work. It depends where they've gone on their own journey. And you'll find that they haven't done the work, and that's why they're trying to return. But you're a different version, so that frequency can't come in. It's like two different radio stations. And they're trying to tune into yours, but you're well tuned out. You're well tuned out. You're on a completely different radio station. They can never ever find you. They can never ever find you on that station. And they're just trying to tune in, like a little bit. And you're like, ew, why are you trying to tune into my station? Yes, I can't wait for this healing journey. I'm so ready, which is why my path crossed finding you. I'm so grateful to listen to you. Oh, Sammy, that's so cute. I'm so happy that you're in the membership. Like, honestly, any girls that are watching this who aren't in my membership, this is literally what we teach every week. You're just going on a journey with yourself. Just with yourself. Getting to know yourself. That's it. And committing to it every single week. So it's that accountability piece. Every week, showing up for yourself, doing the inner work, and just literally returning to you. That is it. The love you never got as a child, you can now give to yourself as a grown-ass woman. Catherine, I love that. Yeah, I know, but that is the truth though, isn't it? Like, this little child in you is like, oh, my dad didn't love me because he was an alcoholic. I'm on about me here. He was an alcoholic and he was poorly, so he was unavailable. And then my mum couldn't love me because she had all her stuff going on and she was just so detached from anything. So I couldn't receive that from you. So then I meet these men and they can't love me and blah, blah, blah. And then when you really sit with yourself, you're like, I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm a fucking grown-ass woman who's also a mother to my own child. Like, I have literally brought life into this world. And I'm still playing out the patterns, the wounding of the little girl seeking the love from the mum and the dad. I'm not a little girl anymore. And this is what the journey is about every single day. And this is why I drum it into you girls about inner child work. Because this is all you're doing. Consistently connecting with her and showing her the love. And bringing her into your life like she is the real you. But right, I'm going to go because it's 8:30 and I've just remembered I need to do something. Oh, damn. So yeah, thank you everybody who came to the live. And if you've got any questions about my membership, go to my Instagram bio, Catherine Worsley 444 on Instagram, and you can join my membership on there. But for my membership girls, I'll see you on Sunday. For everybody else, I will speak to you all soon. Good night, God bless.